Let's go right into our next segment. My next guest is the Femme Fatal Triple Threat, who embodies the true spirit of a warrior. She's a fitness freak obsessed with tactical weapons and gear, who grew up covered in the color of mud and muck rather than pretty and pink. This accomplished bull hunter, gun hunter, staunch Second Amendment advocate, and cancer survivor who has made her life's mission to educate men and women on the importance of early cancer detection. She's also a subject matter expert on hunting and the outdoors and writes for Deer and Deer Hunting Magazine about hunting strategies, gear, and product reviews, and many controversial hunting topics. She confidently states, for her, there's only one approach, and that encompasses passion, integrity, and a full-throttle attitude, no matter what the scenario or consequences. Always, every damn day, because character counts. Please welcome Nicole McClain. Nicole, welcome to the Sporting Life Radio Show. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you for taking the time to join us.
Oh, absolutely. I just left the gym, so I'm a little amped up.
Okay. Hey, Nicole, let's start with the early years growing up. Now, I know you're a cancer survivor. When were you diagnosed, and what type of cancer did you have?
I was late in my teens, and probably the easiest way to describe it would be something similar to colon cancer, which is typically a disease that men get in their 50s. Mm-hmm. So as a 19-year-old female to be diagnosed, it was very, very rare. And another problem that I faced was I was actually misdiagnosed. I went in and had one surgery done and found out 3 months later that they had actually made a mistake. What was supposed to be a routine surgery, everything's going to be fine. 3 months later, I get a letter in the mail that says, hey, we made a mistake. You've got cancer. You need to come in, and things aren't looking so good. Wow. So make yourself a bucket list of stuff you want to do for the rest of your time, and hunting was one of them. So let's talk about a game changer when you're 19 years old thinking about college, and everybody's telling you to quit.
Sure. Now, Nicole, how were you able to beat it?
I put a lot of everything I do in the hands of God, and I know some people don't like to hear that, but I honestly believe that's what saved me. And parlayed with fitness and nutrition and eating healthy. I mean, I was given a not a good outcome. So it was basically do what you want to do. And I took, the bull by the horns, said, the last name McClain means perseverance, and we are not quitters. Mm-hmm. Every person in my family has faced a trial, and we keep going. And, we're no different than anyone listening to your show. You have to grab tight, press on, and put one foot in front of the other and take it one day at a time. And that's exactly what I did. And, thankfully I've got my family and I've got my faith, and just pressed on. And by the miracle of God, he's decided to give me some more time.
Sure. And that leads me to the question for those men and women who are listening to the show right now that may have cancer themselves or have a family member or friend that has cancer. What is your message to them?
My message is to don't quit when they tell you to quit. I was told to quit. I get it. I was told it's done, it's over. There's no options for you. If you want to do another surgery and see what you can do, then that's fine, but we don't recommend it because you're going to waste time in recovery. And my message is to find faith, because without my faith, I was a lost teenager, very angry, very bitter. And as soon as I had put everything I had into God's hands and said, whatever you give me, I will take, instantly. I mean, my mom looked at me and said, I don't even recognize you anymore. What happened to you in there? And it was just at that moment, everything changed for me. And unfortunately, I've never had another experience like that in my life, feeling that connected and that free. But it did make all the difference in my life.
Sure. Modeling career. Let's touch briefly on that. When did you start modeling, and what type of modeling do you do?
That was also probably when I was a teenager. I did some fashion, a little bit of runway, a lot of print work for clothing lines. I did Morona, Exhilaration, JCPenney, TGI Fridays, Kellogg's. A lot of print work, and, if I was 5'11", I probably would have done more runway.
Sure. There you go.
Not quite that tall, so.
Your passion for hunting is obvious. You love deer hunting. How old were you when you first started hunting, and who was it that got you involved in hunting?
I ran circles with a group of people that were hunters, and I had never hunted. I was always in the outdoors, camping, fishing, doing all that kind of stuff. But I always wanted to try hunting, but I never thought I could shoot an animal. I'm a huge animal lover. And when I got my diagnosis and they said, make a bucket list, hunting was, at the top of that list. And I said, well, if I'm going to do it, now's the only time I have. And I went out, and I'll tell you what, I passed up on probably 12 or 15 deer in all the times when I first went out because I couldn't pull the trigger. And I said, you know what? You're running out of time, lady. You either need to do this or, go back to catching frogs, as I always say. And so the one day I just did it, and I bawled my eyes out, felt horrible. And but even now, every time, doesn't matter, 15 years later, I still feel awful. It's that moment of affliction, and it just gets me every time. But I love hunting.
Sure.
I love it.
Nicole, what advice can you give to women that may be thinking about getting into hunting but have not yet pulled the trigger, so to speak, pun intended?
I'll give you the advice that I'd give you just for life in general. Don't let anything or anybody get in your way. Become the mountain of your life and not a grain of sand. And if that is what you want to do, you need to give it a shot. And don't let anybody, treat you any differently or make it seem like you're weak or incapable or impossible to learn. A lot of the stuff that I learned on my own, going out. And unfortunately, I wish I had somebody that could, teach me as I went along. But I didn't always have that. I have obviously more of that now in a circle of friends that I hunt with on a regular basis. But you can learn anything you want to learn, and you can do whatever it is that you want to do. And if hunting is one of them, get out there and do it. I mean, I find peace in the outdoors, in God's country, and it's taught me, in addition to, my own life, being grateful for it, but I have respect for every animal that I take. As much as I'm an animal lover, I have respect for every animal that I take because I'm taking their life, and that's a choice that I make. And I know what it's like to have my hand in the life of a higher power, and it's a scary situation. So you have to respect the sport as well, not just go out there to turn heads or be the next female hunter or any of that. There's more to it than that, for sure. But if you want to do it, do it.
There you
Absolutely.
go. Nicole, we're out of time, unfortunately. I want to thank you for taking the time to join us. We've got to have you back on sometime, and God bless you, and keep getting after it, my friend.
I will. You too.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me on. I appreciate it.
You bet. Take care.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, Nicole McClain, inspiration for sure. We're going to take a short break. Stay with us right here on the Sporting Life Radio Show.